still heals my body. He still wakes me up every morning so I can serve Him.
Right.
Hallelujah.
As long as we keep our ear turned and our eyes lifted up to Him, He can lead us where He wants to take us.
Right.
See, God never told them when He was going to move. He didn't send them an email. He didn't send them a text message. He said He didn't give them any indication because He wanted them to be ready for change at any time.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
He wanted them to be ready that wherever it was next, they didn't know if they were just going to another spot in the desert or maybe that next day they were going into the promised land.
Yeah.
But He kept that anticipation that something great is going to happen.
Yes.
See, I have that anticipation as Saturday becomes to approach. I have an anticipation that something great is going to happen this weekend.
Yes.
Something miraculous is going to occur. Why? Because I am seeking after God. I am seeking after the moving of God. That is what I desire.
Right.
And that is what we must desire.
Hallelujah.
One of the greatest battles we fight is familiarity.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though something or someplace may be dry and desolate and difficult, once we become familiar with it, we can become comfortable in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once it becomes comfortable to us, we resist anything that threatens our routine.
Yeah.
Because it's upsetting our comfort.
Right.
Moving is one of the most interesting things. Moving processes, there's only one word that I can think that describes it. It's chaos. Because once you start moving, your house is a mess. You can't find anything you're looking for. And you start organizing the boxes and putting them, marking them what's in them, and that lasts about halfway through the move. And after that, you just don't care.
That's true.
Because you just want to get it over with.
That is true.
Everything is moved out of its normal place. The familiar routine and where everything was is no longer where it used to be. And everything is confusion and disorder. The next thing about moving is it's not convenient.
Right.
Everything you want seems the hardest thing to find. You ever tried to find a bowl for cereal when you're moving after you pack the kitchen already? And you can't remember what box you put it in? Then finally you just give up and go to McDonald's. But the reality is nothing is convenient about moving. There's nothing that is comfortable about moving. Another thing is when you start to move, you begin to realize all the things you've accumulated over the years.
Right.
A lot of it's just plain junk.
Right.
That's right.
Or it's at least outdated.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's just simply unnecessary.
That's right.
And there's one other thing that is interesting about moving. Is that in the time of moving, there's shifting and sifting. It's when you lighten your load.
Right.
It's when you separate the useful from the useless.
All right.
It's where you separate the valuable from the worthless.
Good.
See, I'm not going to hold on to what was yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going to take what God has given me from yesterday and all the disappointments and all the problems and all the issues. I'm going to leave them in yesterday because I'm moving on.
Hallelujah.
There's something about stuff that is useless to you. There's one place that it belongs. And that's in the garbage can. I'm telling you what, you can fill up more garbage cans of trash when you move
That's true.
than any other time.
That's
Right.
Well, this life, we collect a lot of things. We collect a lot of garbage. We collect a lot of hurts. We collect a lot of disappointments. We have dreams that don't come to pass, so we have disappointments. But in reality, God's saying, I've got a better plan. I've got a better idea. I've got a better goal. I've got a promised land that I'm trying to take you to, but you got to leave things behind. You got to leave things behind. You got to take those things that you've carried for so long and leave them and lighten your load.
Hallelujah.
When we had to move with the military, they always gave you a certain amount of weight that you could move.
All right.
And you would try to guess and figure out what you had. Because if you were over the weight, you were going to pay for it.
Right.
So when you had to move, you made sure that you didn't bring anything extra that you didn't need.
Right.
Because you didn't want to have to pay that price.
Right.
I don't want to take stuff that jumped from yesterday with me as I move. Because I don't want to pay the price that's already been paid. I don't want to take my failures with me. I don't want to take my sins that I did 2 weeks ago or a day ago or an hour ago. I don't want to take those with me. I want to get them under the blood and leave them in yesterday. I want to leave them in the past, and I want to go toward the future of what God has for me.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
As we move from one level to another in our walk with God, there are things we just simply must leave behind. See, I'm ready. I'm ready to leave some excess baggage that's been slowing me down. I want to move into that place, even though it's difficult, even though it's taking me out of my comfort area and my comfort zone. I'm willing to go forward. I'm willing to start taking out the boxes out of the house and getting the garbage taken out of my life.
Right.
Those things that does so easily beset me.
Yes.
Because I want to run the race.
Yeah.
You're not in a race if you're standing still.
Right.
You're not doing nothing when you're standing still. All you are is a spectator. I'm not willing to be a spectator in this walk with Jesus. I want to be a participant. I want to put His name that He has put in my life. I want to wear it on the outside so people can see God in me and know that I'm pressing toward the mark of the high call.
Amen.
Because it has to reflect in my life.
Yes, sir.
Just because you wear a Jesus t-shirt doesn't mean you're walking.
That's right. That's right. That's good.
Hallelujah. See, there's something about moving. When you have been in a place for a long time, you've got your job, you got your friends, you got your family. Believe me, when I moved to Little Rock and we pulled out of Nana and Papa's driveway, I thought my kids were going to take another vote before we left. Why? Because they were having to give up everything that they knew. All of their friends that they've grown up with their entire life, their family, everything that was comfortable, everything that was convenient, everything that was home.
Right.
But sometimes we have to realize that God is trying to take us to a greater place. It may not seem like the greater place when you get there, because sometimes He takes you to that dry and thirsty land. But there's a purpose behind it. Because when you're in that place, God is still teaching you. He's still growing you. He's still making you into what He wants you to be. But you can never be what God needs you to be unless you have a willingness and a heart to move when He says move.
Hallelujah.
There was I love old-time radio shows. And if you don't know what that is, that's shows that were in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. They didn't have TV. They didn't have, and the kids are in shock, they didn't have iPods, iTouches. They didn't have anything. They had listen. You sat in front of the radio and listened. But there was a show on that they finally made it to TV, but it was called The Twilight Zone. Well, tonight I don't want to talk about the Twilight Zone. I want to tell you where God is taking us, where He's taking me. It's called the unknown zone. Unknown people that we're going to come in contact with.
Hallelujah.
Unknown towns that we didn't know existed. Unknown surroundings and unknown new experiences that we're about to have. In Hebrews 11:8, God talked to a man called Abraham. He said, and he documents it this way. He says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed and went out not knowing whither he went. He had no clue where he was going. He just said, God told him to move, and he said, okay, God, I'll move. When the children of Israel were going to cross Jordan for the first time, they were told to stay a certain distance from the ark and the priest. It says Joshua rose early in the morning and they removed and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and lodged there before they passed over. And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host. And they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord, or when you see something starting to move, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and the priests, the Levites bearing it, then shall you remove from your place and go after it.